All right, what's up, folks, and welcome back to the channel today for another review. Now, today we're going to be reviewing the film Anything for Jackson, which is going to be releasing on Shudder December 3rd. So if you have the Shudder app, you're good to go. And you know, this film was out on the film festival circuit earlier this year, and a lot of people gave it high praise. So I definitely seen a few reviews, and I said I definitely wanted to check this out. And I'm here to say that a lot of the things that they were high on, they definitely hit it on the head. But I definitely had a few problems myself, and I definitely would get into that. But what's going on with this film is that you have Audrey and Henry, this older couple whose grandson Jackson, who was killed in a car accident. Well, they got this really elaborate plan because, you know, Henry's a doctor, and what they're going to do is they're going to kidnap one of his pregnant patients and perform a reverse exorcism on her that would then put Jackson inside of her in the unborn child as now the new vessel. But as anything when you're dealing with demons or exorcisms, you know, it's never ever always a good one-shot plan. There's always something bad that's going to happen out of that. And sure enough, yeah, they open the door not only for Jackson but for many other demons to walk through and create havoc for them. So now pretty much they are just in a race of time because it's either about how soon they could perform this exorcism in order for her to have the baby, or for survival because of what the demons are creating havoc for them. So that's pretty much the gist of the film. And the first thing I'm gonna start off talking about is the performances. You know, everyone talked about it, and the performances absolutely are stellar. The leads do an amazing job, and all of the supporting characters do a really good job. That it just all comes together very cohesive. You know, you might have seen some of these people in other in other things, but as leads, maybe not. But all together, they just all work really well together, and they really was the catalyst for making this film really go forward. So performances absolutely, definitely a check in the good box here. Now, because it's a horror film, this film is really driven on jump tactics and jump scares. And I thought I did a really good job with that as well. Some was predictable, and even the ones that were predictable, I feel like the sound effects really did a good job and still making sure the execution was on point. And, you know, along with the good sound effects, I felt like the special effects and makeup and costume design was all really well done. This film actually is very gory at times and very brutal. And I thought that, you know, the costume and makeup design to go along with that was done really well. There's one particular scene about halfway through the film that's just really creepy and really well done with the makeup and so on. With that being said, this film is a horror film. It also has like thriller aspects to it and definitely has some comedic aspects to it. For me, I wasn't scared at all through this. And quite frankly, it's because of the performances that made this entertaining. I'll talk about the parts that I don't like in a little, but it wasn't really a scary movie to me. And quite frankly, it's just entertaining. Definitely had some moments where I definitely laughed. The dialogue was done well. And sort of because of like the psychology of some of these characters, just how they really perceive things, especially when you talk about the older couple who's like rich and entitled and privileged, kind of like their perspective of life definitely will, it definitely will give you a few laughs to the point where it's kind of really despicable when you think about it. But nonetheless, like, you know, there's definitely going to be some laughs coming through dialogue and just maybe even some social commentary as well. And then there's a lot of good different subplot points and a lot of little things that's happening with some of these characters as well. So, you know, like it's really compiling a lot of good things that's going to make this a good film. Again, for the first half of this film is laid down the foundation of what this film is going to be, introducing the characters, their psychology, and then you progress, getting more and more into the genre, and so you're doubling down with that. And then this is where the problem is for me. When you get to the third act is where I feel like the film just really swirls into nothing. All the momentum leading to the third act, I felt like was this completely it was completely, it's kind of sad because it just feel like it was completely wasted because like it did so much good in the beginning to the point where you just didn't know where this film was going to end. Where was it going to land? After the climax and after the heightened urgency with everything, it kind of never resolved to anything to me. And like, it totally made me start to lose interest because I just had no clue what this film was trying to accomplish, where it wanted to go. And it just felt really lackluster in the execution for the big payoff at the end. So I don't know. I don't feel like it totally wasted the movie, but like it definitely took me out of it. Like it definitely had me to the point where I was like, this has potential to be really good, to the point where it's just like, oh, that, I don't know. I just don't know. Because the performances alone definitely is worth the watch. And then again, a lot of the other things, like there's definitely some characters, there's some moments, there's some scenes that are just really that are interesting. That definitely have some because this film is unique when I think about it as well too. Like again, when you're dealing with exorcism, you're dealing with people in cults and an elderly couple who's just out doing whatever they want to do. Like we've seen genres and we've seen this in the genre. We've seen films with that, but I feel like it did a really good job in being unique and being true to itself. That kind of catches you a little off guard at times, but ultimately it keeps you entertained. But I just feel like the ending resolve just fell so flat that it just is like, wait, what? Did I miss something? You know what I mean? So I that's really my knock on it, but I think it's still worth checking out because of just the performances alone. And ultimately, maybe if this film is overly scary for you, then maybe you have a different reaction to it. But again, for me, I think that I would have liked a little bit more. I would have liked a better payoff. I definitely would have liked to see it continue that momentum it carried with and really continue to double down in it. And it's definitely an independent film. There's definitely moments where you can say like, this looks really independent, really, I'm not gonna say low budget, but not as good as quality as some of the other scenes. But overall, I still think the movie is definitely worth a check out, but I don't think it's like a really like must watch. Like I definitely think it's missing some really critical things that potentially may have viewers kind of zone out, tune out about ultimately what's going on. But I think it does try really, really good in their performances, the uniqueness of it, and really having some of these little sub tropes that are all going out throughout the movie that really could potentially resonate with viewers in a way that could ultimately keep them invested. So, but overall entertaining, and I definitely curious to know what you all going to think about this film. So again, Anything for Jackson is going to be releasing December 3rd on the Shudder app. Let me know in the comments what you thought about this film once you check it out. And as always, folks, see you soon for more reviews. Thank you for watching, everybody. Take care. Big gold bell.